Do the photo ID numbers, excuse me, correspond to item numbers in property reports that are prepared by yourself?
Many times they do, but often, but there are times when they do not.
Well, when I say correspond, what I mean is that does every item number have a corresponding photo number?
Yes, or it should.
Okay. And sometimes the ID, the item number, and the photo number are the same,
Yes,
but not always.
that's correct.
In this particular case, with respect to the photo number you've indicated in B, which is 1, for the stain on the door handle,
Yes.
do you know what the corresponding item number is?
The corresponding item number is item number 1.
What, if anything, did you do with respect to that spot that you appear to be pointing to in photographs A and B?
The spot was tested with the presumptive test and came back positive. Then it was measured and ultimately documented and collected.
Now, when you say it came back positive for blood, does that test tell you whether the blood is animal or human?
No, it does not.
Just that it is blood?
Just that it is indicative of blood.
I think you indicated yesterday, sir, that it could be 2 other things, 3 other things. What were they?
The test will give a false positive, or is reported to give a false positive with vegetable peroxidases, and those are found in things like cabbage, apple. There are a few other plant-like materials, and there are also chemicals that are oxidizers, known as, and an example of those would be permanganate or dichromate.
Now, you performed the presumptive test for blood about how many times, sir?
Approximately 10,000 times.
In those 10,000 times, how many of those times have you seen a false positive occur, giving you the result that it is blood when it was in fact one of those other things you named that I can't even pronounce?
To my knowledge, none of them.
Now, after you performed that test on the item number 1 that you've indicated on the Ford Bronco, did you proceed to test some other blood drops?
Yes, I did.
And where were those located, sir?
There were other blood drops proceeding along the rear of the Bronco, leading up to the driveway, along inside the driveway of the compound, and leading towards the front entrance of the house.
Show you people 6. Directing your attention specifically to photographs D, E, and F. Do you see in all of those these little pieces of paper on the driveway?
Yes, I do.
Can you tell us what they are?
Those are markers indicating where there were red stains.
And do those markers indicate stains that you tested, sir?
Yes.
Now, could you first of all, I meant to ask you before, with respect to that presumptive test for blood, how is it performed? What do you do?
We will wet a cotton swab with distilled water, apply the wet swab to the stain so that the suspected blood is absorbed onto the swab. Phenolphthalein is applied to the swab at that point, and I have observed a slight greenish cast appear at that point. The second step is to add hydrogen peroxide and a very bright pink color shows up almost immediately at that point, and that would be a positive test.
When the bright pink color comes up, it says that means it's positive for blood?
Ye-
Sorry, positive for an indication of blood.
Yes.
And you performed the test in that manner with respect to the item you've indicated in photo number 1 and item 1, the spot on the door handle of the Ford Bronco?
Yes.
Now, how do you collect blood stains from a crime scene?
Generally, stains are transferred onto a swatch by first wetting the swatch with distilled water, applying it to the stain so that the blood is absorbed onto the swatch, and at that point it's put into a plastic bag and then put into a coin envelope where it is labeled with the corresponding photo ID number.
Now, is it also your job, sir, to package all of the evidence that you collect and label it with what is known as a DR number?
Yes, it is.
And did you do so in this case?
Yes, I did.
Now, I'm going to be directing your attention to item numbers 1 through 8. Did you prepare a report documenting what item numbers 1 through 8 are in this case?
Yes, I did.
Did you collect them, sir?
I did, along with my assistant, Criminalist Mazzola. Criminalist Mazzola.
Is that another criminalist with the Los Angeles Police Department?
Yes.
Do you usually send 2 criminalists to a crime scene?
Not always, no.
What was this criminalist doing with you on that particular day?
She was there to learn how to process scenes.
So you were showing her how it's done?
Yes.
Now, with respect to items 1 through 8, what are those items, sir, as described in your report?
Item 1 is a cloth swatch used to transfer a red stain. Item 2 is a wood stick. Item 3 is a Marlboro cigarette butt. Item 4 is another cloth swatch used to transfer red stain. Items, to make it easier, items 4 through 8 are cloth swatches used to transfer red stains. And is that all you asked for?
That's all I asked for.
Okay.
Okay, so as to item 1, sir, that was the Ford Bronco you've already testified to.
Yes.
With respect to items 4 through 8, where were those items? Those were blood stains also?
Yes.
Where were those recovered?
Items 4 through 8?
Yes.
Items 4 through 8 were collected within the driveway of 360 North Rockingham. There was a trail starting from the gate and leading up to the front door of the house.
Starting from the gate, sir?
The gate on, I believe, Rockingham.
Let me show you photographs that you've seen that were previously marked as People's 8. You see photograph C and photograph D?
Yes.
In photograph C, do you see a marker with the number 4 on it?
Yes, I do.
And that's on the asphalt right behind the Ford Bronco?
Yes.
And photograph D, see, appears to be of the asphalt also?
Yes.
A close-up of photograph 4?
Possibly, yes.
Well, sir, do you see any other markers on asphalt?
No.
So do you think that photograph D is a close-up of the photograph shown in C?
It's a good possibility.
How many cloth swatches do you have of blood recovered from asphalt in your report, sir?
Just one.
And is that one, the item number 4?
Yes, it is.
And does D appear to be a close-up of a stain on asphalt, sir?
Yes.
May we deduce that that is the close-up of item number 4?
Yes.
And what did you determine, what test did you perform on that item?
Item number 4?
Yes.
I did a presumptive test for blood.
And the result was?
Positive.
And item number, so then that was a blood drop, indicative of a blood drop behind the Ford Bronco,
Yes.
item number 4.
Yes.
And were there other blood drops leading up through the driveway towards the residence that you tested?
Yes.
And were those items 5, 6, 7, and 8?
Yes.
And you performed the same presumptive blood test?
Yes.
Result was?
They all were indicative of the presence of blood.
How did you record these results?
The results were recorded on a crime scene checklist.
That's some form that you take with you to a crime scene?
Yes.
And were all of those items packaged by yourself, bearing the DR number of this case?
Yes, I may have had some assistance from Criminalist Mazzola in some of these items.
Did you assure yourself that the packaging was properly done and that all items bore the same DR number?
Yes.
And what is the DR number for this case?
The DR number for this case is 940817431.
Do you assure yourself that all items packaged and collected by you bore that DR number?
As far as I know, yes.
Did you collect any other item? Well, let me direct your attention to item number 9 on your property report, sir.
Yes.
What item is that and where did you collect it from?
Item number 9 is a brown leather glove, a right-handed one with red stains.
Collected from where?
That is collected from the south side of the house.
Showing you the photographs that have been previously marked as People's 9. Can I ask you if you recognize the location shown in photographs A, B, C, D?
Yes, I do.
Is that, what location is that?
That is the south side of the house of 360 North Rockingham.
And showing you the photograph that has been previously marked as People's 21. You recognize that?
Yes, I do.
Does that appear to be the same glove in the same location as those depicted in photographs A through D and E?
Yes.
Now E, that photograph E, do you recognize that one? That photograph, sir?
I haven't seen, well, it appears to be a depiction of the item number 9.
Did you cause that photograph to be taken or have some part in setting that up?
Yes. Detective Van Adder asked me to have the glove photographed, and I did. I had some of the lab personnel do that.
And it has item number 9 on it. What does that tell you?
That indicates to me that that is the same glove that is depicted in People's 21.
And in the other photographs that you've previously identified, A, B, C, and D?
Yes.
Did you perform some test on the item number 9, that glove, at the location where you found it?
Yes, I did.
And what kind of test was that?
I performed the presumptive test for blood on it, and it came back with a positive result.
after you obtained the results on strike that, on item number 1 and item numbers 4 through 8 and item number 9, the glove, did you collect those items?
Yes, I did.
And you indicated earlier you had them all packaged?
Yes.
And all were labeled with the DR number for this case?
Yes.
In what manner did you package the blood swatches that you obtained from the location of 360 Rockingham?
Initially, I put the cloth swatches in plastic bags individually, then placed the plastic bags into a coin envelope and labeled the envelope with a photo ID number.
And with respect to the glove, item number 9, how did you package that?
The glove in item number 9 was packaged in a brown paper bag.
Now, the photographs that I have shown you with respect to the Ford Bronco and the driveway, and let me also show you People 6 again. Now I'm referring to People 6,
Yes.
People's 9,
Yes.
and People's 8.
Yes.
Do these photographs accurately depict the evidence in the location in which you found them, the condition in which you found them?
Yes, they do.
At what time did you complete your work at the Rockingham Avenue address?
We completed the collection and documentation at approximately 10 o'clock.
And where did you go after that?
At that point, we proceeded on to, I forgot the address here. We proceeded on to 875 South Bundy.
And what time did you arrive there?
We arrived there at 10:15.
Did you meet with a detective at that location, sir?
Yes, I did.
Who?
I was met there by the officer in charge of the scene, Detective Lang.
Talk to him when you got there?
Yes, I did.
Did he tell you something?
Yes, he told me items of evidence he wanted me to collect, and he showed to me a blood trail and some shoe prints which appeared to be bloody shoe prints.
And did he ask that you do something with them?
He asked that I photograph them and measure their locations.
And did you prepare a report of what you did with respect to the evidence you recovered at the scene at 875 South Bundy?
Yes, I did prepare a property report.
Now, did you have any interaction with the bodies of any of the victims at the crime scene?
I briefly saw them being removed, but no.
Is it part of your job to have any contact with the bodies of victims when you go to crime scenes to process them?
Under certain circumstances, I may, but the bodies are under the jurisdiction of the coroner's office.
Now, sir, did you recover a glove from the location of 875 South Bundy?
Yes, I did.
showing you the photograph that has been previously marked as People's 12. Can you tell me if you recognize what's shown there?
Yes, in the photograph marked People's 12, a brown glove is depicted along with a photo ID number 102.
And that photo ID number 102 corresponds to what item number, sir?
Photo ID 102 corresponds to item number 37.
Did you prepare a report concerning any analysis you may have performed on that item?
I did not do an analysis of the glove at the scene.
You did not?
No.
Why not?
It was not necessary for the investigative process at that time.
Directing your attention, sir, to the photograph that has been previously marked People's 11. Can you tell us what's depicted there?
The photograph marked People's 11 depicts a dark blue watch cap, and next to it is a marker with the number 103.
And that corresponds to what item number, sir?
That corresponds to item number 38.
And what test did you perform on that item?
No test was done on the cap at that point in time.
Why not?
Was not necessary for the investigative process at that time.
What do you mean by that?
It is best to not manipulate the evidence and to leave it in as much an undisturbed condition so that it can later be analyzed in a proper setting back at the laboratory. By manipulating the evidence out at the scene, valuable trace evidence could be lost. So what we try to do is just leave it as undisturbed as possible and by packaging it and bringing it back to the lab.
So you try to do as little testing as you can of items in order to preserve them?
Yes.
And only if it's absolutely necessary do you test them at the scene?
Yes.
In what manner was the glove, item number 37, packaged, sir?
The glove in item number 37 was packaged in a brown paper bag.
You know, I'm showing you photograph People's 10 for identification. Can you tell us what's in that photograph?
The photograph marked People's 10 depicts a envelope with red stains on it, and next to it is a card marked 104.
And that corresponds to item number?
That corresponds to item number 39.
And that is another item of evidence that you collected?
Yes, it is.
In what manner did you package that?
That also was placed into a brown paper bag.
Showing you People's 14. If you can, sir, does that depict all three items? The blue knit cap, the glove, and the envelope as you found them?
Yes.
And the items that you have just described in photo ID 102, 103, 104, as depicted in People's 10, 11, 12, and 14, are those all shown in the manner in which you found them and the condition in which you found them at the crime scene?
Yes.
showing you, strike that. With respect to all of those items, sir, did you take them and package them with the, bearing the DR number for this case?
Yes, I did.
Showing you Peoples 15 for identification.
Yes. Photograph marked Peoples 15 depicts a large red stain, and next to it is a card marked 107.
Were you directed to preserve, photograph, and test bloody shoe prints at that scene?
Yes, I was.
Do you see one of them in that photograph, Peoples 15?
Yes, I do.
And where is it, sir? Can you point it out, please?
It appears on the first step, and it is to the right, top right corner of the photograph.
If you could show the cord.
You're referring to it right here in this area?
Yes.
And what did you do to preserve those particular shoe prints, those bloody shoe prints?
The shoe prints were photographed in double scale, and I did take a sample from 2 of the shoe prints.
A blood sample?
It was positive.
Appeared to be.
Yes.
Now, were you also requested to photograph and test a trail of blood drops at that location?
Yes, I was.
Showing you Peoples 19 and 20, sir. Can you tell us if you recognize these photographs?
Yes, I do.
And can you tell us, first of all, with respect to Peoples 19?
Peoples 19 depicts depicts 4 of the red stains along the north path along the house at 870 Bundy. 875 Bundy.
Were there some bloody shoe prints at some point to the right of those blood drops?
Yes, there were.
Now, the numbers that are shown in photographs B, C, D, E, F, and G, 112 through 115, are those photo ID numbers?
Yes, they are.
Do they correspond to item numbers?
Yes, they do.
What item numbers do they correspond to?
They correspond to item numbers 47 through 50.
So 47 would be photo ID number 112,
Yes.
and then 49 would be, item 49 would be photo ID number 114,
Yes.
and 114 is shown close up in photograph E,
Yes, it is.
and is it shown in perspective in photograph D?
Yes, it is.
And do you recall, do you have an independent recollection of how that location looked? The location shown in photograph D?
Somewhat.
Were those stairs leading back to an alley, sir?
Yes, they were.
Did you perform some kind of test on item 49 while you were at 875 South Bundy?
Yes, I did.
And what about item numbers 47, 48, 50, and 52?
Yes, I did presumptive tests on those stains.
Now, the item numbers I've just stated, item number 47 is shown in photograph, close-up in photograph B.
Yes.
And item number 48 is shown close-up in photograph C.
Yes.
Item number 49 shown close-up in photograph E.
Yes.
Item number 50 shown close-up in photograph G.
Yes.
Okay, now does photograph F show the blood drops in photograph G in perspective for its general location?
If I may take a closer look.
Yes.
Yes, it does.
And the gate shown in photograph F, is that the rear gate leading out to the alley?
Yes, it is.
Showing you people's 20, sir. With respect to photograph C. See photo ID number 117?
Yes.
And that corresponds to what item number?
That corresponds to item number 52.
And is that close-up shown in perspective in photograph B?
Yes, it is.
Where is the location that photograph one, that the item shown in photo ID number 117 was found?
That is on the driveway on the alley behind the house.
The driveway to the rear of the residence?
Yes.
Is that the wheel of a car we see at the left side of the photograph as we face it in photograph B?
Yes.
And is that the alley running behind the house that we see at the upper left-hand corner of photograph B as we face it?
Yes, it is.
And it was on that driveway that item number 117 was found? I'm
Yes.
sorry, photo ID number 117 was found.
Yes.
And that's item number 52?
Yes, it is.
Now, with respect to each of those photo ID and item numbers that I've just mentioned, did you perform a test?
Yes, I did.
What kind of test?
I performed the presumptive test for blood on them.
And what was the result with respect to all of those item numbers?
They were positive, indicating the presence of blood.
All right, Ms. Clark, I'm going to interrupt you at this point. It's 3 o'clock. We're going to take our 15-minute recess. All right, we're once again on the record in the case of People versus Simpson. The defendant is present with counsel. The people are represented. Mr. Fung is on the witness stand. I remind you that you remain under oath. Ms. Clark.
Thank you. We were talking about what appeared to be blood shoe prints.
Yes.
On People's 19, I see in photograph D that there on the steps are letters, A-G, H, I, J, through O, it appears, on the landing.
Through AO, yes.
Each of those letters that I just said are preceded by an A, correct?
Yes.
And what do those letters on that photograph D document?
Those document shoe prints which were which appeared on the steps.
And did you sample 3 of those shoe prints as representative samples of them in order to determine whether or not they were indicative of blood?
I did various shoe prints along the trail. I don't recall which ones I did, though, but as far as...
Let me ask you this, sir. Items 55, 56, and photo ID numbers D and F, letters D and F.
Yes.
Were those among the bloody shoe prints that you sampled with the presumptive test for blood?
Yes, they were.
And what result did you obtain?
Those were positive for, or indicative of the presence of blood.
Now, I don't see any letters marked in photograph F. I see a number marker at the top of the landing right by the gate, but I don't see any letters.
That is correct.
Why is that?
The shoe prints got lighter and lighter as they went to the west of the location. So as they got to that point, they were not visible any longer.
Now, with respect to each of the item numbers and letters that we have discussed today, did you place the DR number for this case on each of them
Yes, I did.
and have them stored at the lab?
Yes.
Did you receive a vial of whole blood bearing the name O.J. Simpson and this case DR number
Yes,
from Detective Van Adder on June 13th, 1994?
Yes, I did.
And what did you do with that, sir?
I brought it back to the lab, assigned it an item number, and submitted it to the criminalist
What
just
item
in
number-
serology.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
And I submitted it to a criminalist in serology.
And what item number did you assign to that?
That was assigned item number 17.
And did you receive vials of whole blood from Colin Yamauchi on June the 15th?
Yes, I did.
And were those labeled as Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman?
Yes.
Did you package them and place item numbers on those as well?
Yes, I did.
What item number did you give to the whole blood taken from Nicole Brown Simpson?
That was item number 59.
And for Ronald Goldman?
That was item number 60.
And again, those were labeled with a DR number for this case as well?
Yes, they were.
And what did you do with those items after you received them from Colin Yamauchi?
Once I received them, I placed them in envelopes, labeled